All right, hello Guild Wars 2 gamers, Muckluck here. Today is Thursday, January 22nd. We've got a little bit of Guild Wars 2 news, and it comes in the form of a blog post. They posted this news post today. It says, new raid encounter, quick play, and raid system improvements coming February 3rd. Now, we knew that they were working on something like this because they released this graphic some months back that showed what was coming out with each of the major updates in the new expansion. This is the launch of Visions of Eternity. This is 3 months later, 6 months later, 9 months later. And at the 3-month update, there is Raid Strike update with Quickplay. They talked about it briefly, and apparently we are getting more information on that today. For any of you gamers who have not done raids or strikes in Guild Wars 2, raids are 10-man content that are quite challenging. Strikes are 10-man content that are a bit easier. Raids, you can get big rewards once a week. Strikes, you get still good rewards, but you can get them every day. And they're both 10-man content. There are some challenge mode strikes that are tougher than raids, but most strikes on their normal difficulty are easier than raids on average. But there's a lot of them. Okay, so let's see what this article says. First off, there is a YouTube video, which we've got right here, and let's see what it is. Raid Strike Unification. I'm gonna watch it without pausing, then I'm gonna watch it with pausing. Whoa! A Doom-themed skyscale? That's pretty cool, honestly. Like, can we beat him down any more than making him our mode of transportation? Also, raid reward. This is one of, this is the third maybe time you can earn a skin for mounts in-game. That is huge if you can earn this through gameplay and it's not on the gem store. Okay. Alright, so, a lot of cool stuff in here. Just shows some people posing in the aerodrome, the raid prep area. There's a big portal, they go in, and it says, what do you want to go? And they pick Mount Balrior, and then they pick Greer, and then boom, they're at Greer. And they fight that. And then they hit select new. Bastion of the Penitent. And they choose Samurag. And then they're at Samurag. And Cardinal Severe. That's not Cardinal Severe. Also, Big Crab. This is not a raid boss. Which means, right here, also coming is new raid encounter with challenge mode. Lots of people were guessing it was going to be the Big Crab from the Visions of Eternity story. I think this is confirmation. Because this is not currently a raid or strike boss, but they're showing this now. Alright, so, very cool. Let's see what this says. Let me see. Let me use the dark mode add-on. The first major update for Guild Wars 2 Visions of Eternity is on its way, and coming with it are a new raid encounter as well as major updates for raids and the raid encounters formerly known as strike missions. Our goal with all of these is to unify Guild Wars 2's challenging instance endgame content while making it easier to navigate. We introduced some of our thinking behind this change shortly before the expansion launched, which you can read here, and now we're ready to share some additional details, and you can click this link if you fancy it. And we got just a picture of the aerodrome here. Oh, interesting. So each of these portals are the different individual raid wings. But now there's this massive thing here that I guess is like the new group finder. Wait. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Starting with the upcoming release, strike missions will be known as raid encounters, and they will be available alongside raid wings in the Looking for Group panel, as well as the new raid UI in every raid portal. Through the new raid UI, squad leaders will be able to select which encounter to enter, including specific bosses of multiple encounter raid wings and all challenge modes. The UI will also track encounter clears for the week. And the reason for that, again, is that many raid bosses will only give you their loot once a week. If you just enjoy doing them, you can do them repeatedly, but you'll only get the loot once a week. So it's good to know which ones you've already done. Squad leaders will also be able to move the squad directly between raid maps without first needing to exit a raid before entering a new one, leading to a more seamless experience with fewer loading screens. So one really cool thing here is that you can select which encounter to enter. There are some encounters people don't like that much. The big one is Escort. In one of the raid wings, the very first boss is called Escort, and it is essentially a long gauntlet thing of sorts where you have to get a NPC to the end of it alive, and it's very time consuming. And after that is Keep Construct, which is pretty popular. That's a quick fight. After that is Twisted Castle, which is another gauntlet thing. It's much faster than Escort, though. And then after that is Zera. And I would say, if you ask the average raider, I think they would say that they enjoyed Keep Construct and Zera, and they didn't enjoy the other two. So I think people would be using this feature to skip one or both of those quite often. Raid Encounter Quickplay. Oh, let's look at the picture here. So Raid Encounter, Bastion of the Penitent, and you can see what they've got selected there. Okay. Raid Encounter Quickplay. From the Raid UI, selecting Quickplay will allow you to enter the queue. When the queue completes and you accept the raid, and you and your squad mates will be transported into the raid. Nobody will be assigned a commander or lieutenant role by default, and all players will have the option to put down markers and start ready checks. That's... I feel like if you get in there with some troll, he's just going to be spamming you with ready checks. That could be problematic with, with the bad eggs, but okay. All players in Quickplay will have an effect applied that provides moderate bonuses to help groups succeed, regardless of party composition. Upon successful completion of the encounter, you'll be presented with the option to stay in your party and go to Lion's Archerodrome, or leave the party and return to the map you were in before entering. All players in Quickplay will have an effect applied that provides moderate bonuses to help you succeed. Like the Quickplay queue for Fractals of the Mist, the Raid Quickplay queue does not try to do any matchmaking for party compositions. Likewise, it has also been curated to include encounters that pose a roughly similar challenge to randomly matched groups of players. At launch, this will include Aetherblade Hideout, Whisper of Jormag, Bone Skinner, Cosmic Observatory, Temple of Phoebe, Zunlai Jade Junkyard, Old Lion's Court, and Kanang Overlook. I am surprised. So the strikes I consider easy are not, like the easiest strikes are not in here. They got Bone Skinner in there, and you want healers for Bone Skinner, but they've got Bone Skinner in a queue mode that doesn't check to see if you have healers. And I'd say the one that's the most complex on this list, as far as mechanics, is Old Lion's Court. Now, shameless promotion here. I have guides for all of these on the YouTube channel or on Mukluk Labs. If you want to do any of these, I've got guides for all of them to try to break it down and make it simple. I'm just sharing my current thoughts. All right. Because of its newness, the new raid encounter will not be part of the Quickplay pool, and there is no bonus event planned for Raid Quickplay at its launch. And there's, let's see, Whisper of Jormag there. Okay. Rewards, achievements, and leaderboards. Rewards have been normalized across raid wings and encounters. This includes the conversion of Prophet Shards to Magnetite Shards. Magnetite Shards and Gating Crystals will be the current currency for raid rewards moving forward. To accommodate that change, the weekly cap for Magnetite Shards has been raised to 800. Okay, so really quick, when you would do strike missions, you would get the shards. When you would do raid bosses, I should clarify that. When you do strike missions, Prophet Shards is one of the rewards. When you do raid bosses, Magnetite Shards is one of the rewards. Gating Crystals is from the later raid wings. So since they're adding strike missions, which would give Prophet Shards into this raid finder, they're just saying strikes are also going to drop Magnetite Shards. We're just going to combine these two currencies to simplify it a little bit. Raid bosses have been grouped into 5 categories based on difficulty. Each boss in the same category will award the same amount of Magnetite Shards. The higher the difficulty, the more rewards. Quickplay raids provide reduced amounts of the same currency as their non-Quickplay version. Additionally, the reward for raid encounters is now gated weekly to be consistent with raid wing bosses. The new raid exclusive rewards, including a new Doom-themed Skyscale skin, have been added to the raid system as part of this update. These are not locked behind the same weekly gate as the other rewards. Separately, a new raid rewards vendor will offer both one-time and weekly rewards in exchange for raid currencies. And very cool. Very cool. That looks good. That looks good. A new daily achievement category, Raid Boss Bounties, will highlight raid encounter and raid wing bosses for bonus daily rewards. The Raid God achievement and several other raid achievements have been added, and updates have been made to several wings and encounters to create achievement parity, including mentor achievements for the raid wings that didn't have one. Raid achievements that are not associated with Quickplay cannot be completed in Quickplay raid encounters. However, 2 new Quickplay specific achievements have been added. There's a weekly achievement with rewards for completing up to 10 Quickplay raids a week, plus a single-time multi-tier achievement for completing Quickplay raids that award new relics from the upcoming release. So, going back to my little picture here, they did mention that there was 6 new exclusive relics that are coming in this release, so this is a way to get them. We're also thrilled to introduce new raid leaderboards for challenge mode completions. These are similar to those used for adventures and will display global top completion times as well as your own time for raid challenge mode. That's cool. So that means for the really, tryhards that like to try doing kind of like timed completions on these, they can compete on the leaderboard of this. That's kind of neat. So it's just there, and for most people, they're not going to care about this, but if you do care about it, it's very easy to see there. That's pretty cool. And then coming soon, everything we discussed today and more will be shown in detail during our live stream this week. Tune into our Twitch channel this Friday, January 23rd at noon Pacific time. That is tomorrow from the time of this recording. To see it all for yourself, and then start getting ready. You'll be able to put the new raid UI to the test and access an all-new raid encounter when the update lands February 3rd. This will be followed 3 weeks later by a challenge mode. We're excited to have everyone jump into experience Quickplay and our other raid improvements. As always, let us know what you think on our official forums. Good luck and happy raiding. And there is a link here to their official forums, which very important. It says if you see anything. If you look at this and you see a glaring problem, this is the time to report it. Go to their forums and be like, I think this is going to be an issue. For me, the only thing I see on here that I'm kind of about is the idea that someone could just spam ready checks the entire time and troll the party. I would hope that at the very least, once you pull the boss, like you can't do ready checks anymore, and then you could just be like, okay, don't group with Billy after this freaking guy. Like I said, I am surprised by these because, like, for example, if you're doing strike missions from easiest to hardest, there's the mountain pass, and then there's like the bears, the Coca-Cola bears, and then there's Freynier, and then I would say Whisper is after that. So I would say Whisper's the 4th from the easiest, and then like Bone Skinner after that. And then, of course, there's Forging Steel. That one's pretty easy, but it's very, very long compared to the others. So I'm kind of glad it's not in here. Cosmic's not too bad. Bone Skinner, incredibly easy, but you do need healers because of just the way the community does it. Aetherblade Hideout is pretty straightforward. Temple of Phoebe, you need to know, like, 2 mechanics. Basically, when he splits, you need to know which ones to kill and which ones to leave alone. Jade Junkyard, pretty easy. Old Lion's Court, not too bad once you learn the mechanics, but there's more mechanics in this than any of the others. Canine Overlook, pretty easy. So, again, I'm just surprised by this match. I probably would not have included Old Lion's Court in this. Bone Skinner is, again, it's not challenging, but you need healers. And they're putting it into a quick play game mode where you might not have healers. But, they said that they're going to include a buff on everyone, so I'm not sure how potent that buff is going to be to make up for that. But we will see. But yeah, that's it for today. It's not like a Tuesday patch day, so I don't need to check like the Black Line chest and all that stuff like that. Very, very cool to do. I hope they do more of this. The idea that they are going to have rewards from content that give you like skins for mounts and stuff like that, like that's great. Coming as someone who came from other MMOs, I do miss that feature from other MMOs. Guild Wars 2 is the closest thing to a perfect MMO for me, but I totally think there's a few ideas we could steal from others to make it even better. And having earnable, unlockable skins that you can show off for mounts is a great one. In World of Warcraft, for anyone who never played WoW, when you cleared raids, like the first time you cleared a raid, you could work on achievements for that raid. And if you got all the achievements, you could earn a mount for it. And there might be like, if the raid had 10-man and 25-man modes, it might be in different colors, like, brown one for doing all the 25-man, and then black one for doing the, sorry, I said that backwards. Like in Northrend, they had a 10-man achievements for the brown proto-drake, and then the 25-man gave a black one. So they were both show-offy, but in different ways. So long story short, I think more ways of getting unlockable skins from gameplay would be good. I do recognize that our game does not have a subscription model. It gives a lot of bang for their buck, and they make a lot of their money from the gem store. So I'm not saying they should stop putting skins on the gem store, but I'm saying having more to work toward is always a good thing. Like, off the top of my head right now, there's one from a reward track in World v World that's like a leopard, and it has your guild's emblem on its butt cheek, like a cutie mark or something. There is the Cryptus Sky Scale, earned via gameplay in Soto, and then there's this one. Now, there might be more, but that's off the top of my head. So would absolutely love to see more like this. This is gorgeous. Maybe have one for doing like all the challenge mode fractals or something. Like this is for 10-man content. Could have one for instance 5-man content. What if there was a mount for doing like really good in PvP, like, end of season above Plat 1 or something like that? You'd have to adjust it based on the population. Maybe Gold 3 some seasons or whatever. Or like getting 10 wins in a row or something, just to really stress for. And then you could have one for World v World, just one for every game mode. Just to start from there. But anyway, that's my thoughts. I'm rambling. That's it. If you got any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns, or any comments on anything you want to point out that I missed, put it in the comment section down below, and I will fight you there.